Now this is the second video that I make comparing these motors. This is the Titan versus the BL-2s. So right now this is the Titan, so I took a voltage reading, and I took the voltage reading just so nobody says, oh, maybe the voltage was lower on one or the other. To be honest, it doesn't make a difference, and I'm going to show you in a bit. All of the video here is sped up 4 times. So if you slow it 4 times, you can see everything move in normal time. But I just didn't want the video to be too long. Now really quick, the brushless motor is not faster than the Titan motor. The Titan motor is actually faster. So top speed is faster, torque, it has more torque. So why is everybody saying that it's faster? Well, that's because of gearing. So the Titan, you cannot gear as high as the brushless, for example, and keep it running cool. It will not maintain the speed, it will fade, you will eventually destroy it. I actually burnt this motor up. So in the very first video, I showed how the Titan accelerates faster and the top speed is faster. So here, one of the things that I'm doing is the following. I went ahead and I put the smallest spur that Traxxas offers, which is a 50 or a 55. Let me double check. It's a 55, so 55 tooth spur with a 35 tooth pinion. So this entire time for this video, that's what I'm running. So both motors will be run with this. Now keep in mind that I overheated this motor once already, so these are not the top speeds that the Titan would give. A brand new Titan would be faster. The point of this video is whether or not it's worth upgrading. The short answer is yes, it's definitely worth upgrading, and the reason why is you're going to get a lot more life out of the brushless version than you will the Titan. And I want you to see the fatigue. So in this car, the last video that I have, if you slow it down, you would notice a speed difference between the Titan in the beginning and then toward the end. Toward the end, I mean, that motor is shot. It has electrical smell, it's horrible. It reaches temperatures of way over 70 C. Actually, I think Fahrenheit goes to about 240. Those pictures will be toward the end. So that's the reason why. The reason why the brushless is so good, I mean, I think it's actually amazing. The brushless is because you can push it harder. But let's look at the times for the worn out Titan. So the worn out Titan, it's a 381. And then a 364, not very consistent as you saw. This is 355, these last two, these are the ones that you want, and a 350, which I don't know why the camera doesn't really show it. This is the external temperature, so about 12 degrees C, 50, what is that, 4 Fahrenheit roughly. Here I'm using the brushless, but I have to set the endpoints, and every time I set the endpoints. Now if we look at the voltage, yes, I begin with slightly higher voltage than I did with the Titan, but then I'm going to bring the car back, take a voltage reading where the voltage is going to be a lot lower than the Titan, run it, and I'm still going to be faster. It's going to be a faster time. And I did this just so, just in case people were wondering, oh, well, does voltage affect it? No. It's the reality. I mean, capacitors in the ESC. I mean, the ESCs are amazing. They do all the work. So, going back to it, yes, I've said it and I claimed it. If you watch my other video, the BL-2s is not faster than a new Titan, or a Titan that has not been overheated and abused. So if you want to do some drag races, Titan's the way to go. It has more torque, it's a little faster. Here when it comes to speed, with the Titan I got 62 kilometers per hour, 63 kilometers per hour, which is about 38, 39 miles per hour. With the brushless, keep in mind that's a worn Titan. With the brushless I was getting 62 kilometers per hour. So about the same speed. Now in my original video, Titan was faster, and I did that comparison in a Fortec and a Slash, so keep that in mind. Did it in a Slash, which is a much heavier vehicle. But these are the times now, so worn out Titan compared to this brushless takes it on. So that's the thing, that out of the box, say you start with a Titan, it's going to seem really, really fast, and then if you don't watch the gearing, you don't maintain it because you want to have fun with the gearing, and get more speed, eventually your Titan will wear out, it'll begin to just fade, and you might not notice it over a long period of time. Whereas the brushless is just going to keep on going. There's no brushes to wear out. It's generally a more efficient vehicle. So this is the voltage reading here that I was talking about the second run. So 824, and I'm going to do another run, and it's still faster than the worn out Titan. So these are the things to keep in mind. So yes, the brushless is a better motor. It's going to last longer. It's pretty much maintenance free. I'm not sure yet if there's a way to replace the ball bearings, but there's ball bearings instead of brass bushings. It runs a lot cooler, and my other video already showed how much cooler it runs in comparison. But don't buy it thinking that it's going to be the fastest motor out of the box. And yes, the whole setup is about $100. Yes, a hobby wing setup would be a little more, but look at the times. That's a 335, and then the last one was a 334. So anyway, yes, it's faster, but keep in mind, this is a worn out Titan. If you go back to my first video, you're going to see that the Titan took the brushless motor absolutely no problem. This is before I started testing and overheating and all of that good stuff. But this video, consider this to be the evidence in essence. So would I upgrade? Yes, I would upgrade, but then again, keep in mind, I really overdid the gearing, because this is the max gearing you can do stock without going into non-Traxxas parts, so keeping it Traxxas. And the motor, the brushless motor, is doing 62 kilometers per hour. I believe that's 38 miles per hour, which is a very good speed. It's just shy of 40. And to be honest, that's more than enough, in my opinion. What I would recommend, not going with the 55 unless you have beautiful weather such as today, where it's on the cooler side, right? It's in the 50s Fahrenheit, it's about 12 Celsius. I would probably go with the 62 spur, which is middle of the field. Especially if you have a Supra or a Corvette. Those are heavier cars than the Fortec 2.0, but they use the same. It's the same gears. You can interchange them. If you haven't watched those videos, I have full teardown videos, and I compare the cars. I actually swapped the front and the rear ends from the 2.0 and a Corvette just to show that they're the same. They are the same. It's just that tub changes. But moving on. It definitely is a good upgrade. So instead of paying the 25 to get a new Titan motor, maybe you can pay the 100, right? 4 times more, and then just upgrade the entire system. Now there is a difference between the ESC in a Fortec 2.0 compared to the ESC in the Slash. They're ultimately the same thing. The difference is the 2.0 has 2 extra holes that are done at the factory so that you can actually mount it correctly. So that's one of the things that you have to keep in mind. I am not sure if the new systems out of the box come with those holes. At some point I'm going to upgrade this car because this one I fried the Titan. And the other motor, the brushless motor that I'm using, that's from a different Fortec. It's just easier for me to swap the electronics than to swap all the gears every single time. That's the reason why. So I want to use the same car. This one has a spool in the front, the other car doesn't yet. That's the reason why. And I did that on purpose just so I can get the best traction, especially for the speed runs. So it's just a front spool. It still has the stock rear differential. But running it for 5 minutes consistently, well, approximately 5 minutes. So I set the timer, ran it for 5 minutes, and the brushless at this ambient temperature did perfectly fine. I mean, the temperatures are within acceptable levels. The temperatures are going to be, I'm going to show them at the end, toward the end, they're coming up. But depending on what part of the motor I was beaming, I was doing about 73 degrees centigrade, about 163 Fahrenheit. The ESC was about 139 Fahrenheit, 59 centigrade, or Celsius. So those are some of the things to keep in mind. I mean, the highest temperature that I recorded was I think a 75 Celsius for the motor, which is about 167 degrees for the motor, Fahrenheit. That's on the brushless. So the brushless, I didn't even get to 170 degrees. So I still kept it below 170 degrees, which is ideal. Say 150 is great, 160, don't worry about it. If you hit 170, just don't do it too often, you'll be fine. I know a lot of people go into a panic. It's not really that big of a deal. Do watch the video of what happens to a motor if you overheat it completely. I do have that motor using a Hobby Wing G3R. A very good motor, 25.5. That thing took abuse like you wouldn't believe. But here are the temperatures, and again, the ambient temperature. And then compare it to the Titan temperatures. Titan temperatures, well, you're going to see the part of the end bell where the fan is, that's going to run cool. Part of the end bell near the motor mount is going to be normal, but the middle of the body, that's going to be over 200 degrees Fahrenheit. It's going to be actually over 240 degrees Fahrenheit, which is in Celsius, that's quite high. Quite high, actually. That's about 96.6 degrees Celsius, so that's pretty high. But these are the temperatures, and these are the Titans, so that's what's going to happen. And yes, that motor's shot. But that being said, I hope this was informative, or at least entertaining. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My car! My rod!